is Spectrum on Radio 1. I'm your host, Edmond Kizito. On Spectrum tonight, why are teachers striking? Should they be dismissed, as has been proposed by their parent ministry? Today, teachers began a two-day strike aimed at pushing government to address some critical issues that affect the quality of education in Uganda today, but government has comforted the teachers, warning them instead of dire consequences. The strike action was announced by the teachers and other stakeholders under an umbrella organization dubbed Action for Quality Public Education. But in a statement issued over the weekend, Education Minister Jessica Alupo indicated that this organization is illegal and not known to teachers who had dissociated from it following a meeting they held at the ministry recently. In the same statement, she directed CAOs, or Chief Administrative Officers, District Education Officers, and Resident District Commissioners to monitor the situation and report teachers who will not turn up into class to teach. In an interview with Radio 1 on Saturday, Minister Lupo indicated that she wanted security agencies to investigate members of the Action for Quality Public Education, saying their activities contravene the law since they interfere with the national education calendar and the right of children to study. Today, reports indicated that Minister Lupo had hinted on the possibility of dismissing all teachers who did not turn up for work, in line with public service standing orders and regulations. It's not clear what the teachers and the other stakeholders are pushing for, since government said it would raise their salaries gradually, beginning with a 15% rise this financial year. So tonight we look at the reasons behind the strike and the response by government so far to see if the two sides can reach an amicable solution, and if not, what will follow in the days to come. Our guests tonight, Father John Byamukama, Secretary for Education at the Uganda Joint Christian Council. You're most welcome, Father Byamukama.
Thank you, yours.
We are also joined by Mr. Fred Mwesige, National Coordinator, Forum for Educational NGOs in Uganda. You're most welcome, Mr. Mwesige.
Thank you and good evening, listeners.
We expect to be joined by Ms. Teopista Birungi Mayanja, General Secretary of the Uganda National Teachers Union, also known as Union-UNATU. Mr. Mwesige, why are you people going on strike? Why are teachers going on strike?
Well, I want to clarify a few things first. Like you said, there's an organization called the Citizens Action Quality Public Education Campaign. I would like to clarify that actually there is no such an organization. Rather, this is a campaign. The campaign is the one called Citizens Action for Quality Public Education. Then who is in this campaign? There are a number of organizations. There is Forum for Education NGOs in Uganda, FEN. There is Uganda National NGO Forum. There is Uganda National Teachers Union. There is ActionAid International Uganda. Then there is the Uganda Muslim Education Association, UMEA, and we have our chair, the Uganda Joint Christian Council, UJCC. And I think Father John Byamukama is here, and he will talk more about UJCC for anyone who wants to know more about UJCC. And in this is a campaign that is not looking at strikes. Actually, we are not talking about strikes. There is no strike.
Oh, teachers are teaching today.
Teachers have come to Kampala and are going to hand in their petition to the parliament tomorrow at 11.
Teachers from all over the country?
Absolutely.
How many are there? 100,000? Which hotel are they staying in? Or a football stadium?
They are staying each of them where they can. They don't have the money to purchase their hotel rooms. And tomorrow they will be in front of Parliament. They will hand in their petition to the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament and say what they have to say in that petition. But I must say once again that actually quality public education is not just about the teachers' salaries. Rather, the teachers' salaries or teacher motivation and teacher management is one of those issues that are negatively impacting on the quality of education in Uganda. And I would like to tell the listeners that actually it's not about even these 6 organizations alone. And it's not about teachers in primary schools or secondary schools. Just about a week ago, I think on 2nd July this year, if this is true, that what Monitor wrote, attributing it to Professor Mahamud Mamdani, Makerere Institute of Social Research, Makerere University, and we all know that professor doesn't say things that are not.
What did he say?
The substance here is that actually the quality of education at Makerere University has come down.
Graduates who can spell their name.
Absolutely. So, whether that is also about teachers' salaries only, it's between me and you and the listeners. You know. So what we are saying, and the point I'm putting across here, is that actually the quality of education in Uganda is going down and down, down, down. And there are studies. These are not words of Fred Mwesige. Rather, I'm just quoting reports. Look at Uwezo report for the last 2 years. And even look at the National Assessment of Progress in Education, NAPE, under the auspices of Uganda National Examinations Board. The figures speak for themselves, and the words there everyone can read. The quality is low, and what we are saying that, look, let's stop pretending the children are not learning.
So what is the root cause of this?
Yes. The root cause are many things. We have a campaign document which we have been passing around, and in all of those, for example, we have congestion in classrooms. We still have a shortage of classrooms. On 10th, we are at Kawempe Muziri Primary School, a school that is said to have been founded in 1935. And I think for those of you who are listening and watched the captions on MTV, might have seen how, you know, the bad state in which that school is. And to me, if we don't have enough desks at Kawempe, 5 kilometers from the city center and about 1 kilometer from where the timber is sold in Iwaise, then where are the desks? Which school has them? What about the other school, which we sometimes officially even describe as a hard-to-reach area? Then we have a very high dropout rate. I think this year I don't have to say much. We all know we have just about 500,000 children sitting for primary leaving examinations. And we know, or we don't think, that there is only just 500,000 children in the age cohort of the school, primary school going age.
How many enter P1? Let's get that comparison.
Most probably a million plus. But these days I have even stopped guessing at those figures.
Stop counting.
Because we don't have even reliable data. The other time, if what I saw in the press is correct, if we can go by that, the Commission of Inquiry into UPE came up with thousands of ghost pupils in one of the districts in Uganda. So, to me, I can as well argue...
Ghost pupils?
Absolutely.
So people can steal the money and build houses on the hill?
Maybe. So I can as well argue that we only have 500,000 kids in each class. In P1 is 500,000, because that's the most reliable figure we do have. But it's not the argument here yet. And we have also noted that the money being put into the education sector is coming down as a percentage. We started with, we had reached 17% of the national budget, and then we came down to 14%. Yet we know there are many challenges to be addressed. We know even the population alone, population increase in Uganda is high. So you have lots and lots of kids that need to go to school every year, and they are increasing. I think some have put it at 3% per annum. That's a very high growth. So you cannot...
Population growth is around 3%.
Yes. So you cannot afford to have a declining percentage. You can only think of... Yeah, you should keep it growing.
Yes.
Then, of course, there is this issue of lunch. We have hungry children in school. It's so surprising to me that we Ugandans, as adults, we eat. Even when we go for a meeting, we eat. Every time we are eating,
we see them in parliamentary committee.
Absolutely. So how about these children who do we think they are made of wood, they are made of iron? These are human beings like we are, and they are our children and young ones. And look, there's nothing for them at school. The policy on packed food, yes, it was a good policy in words, in paper, and perhaps in logic. But the thing is, it's not working. The parents are not packing, and the kids are starving. Which child is going to study? Even an adult, can you study? Can you spend a day without food, Edmond? And you...
Well, so I can spend days. I normally spend, but maybe my case is different.
Maybe your case is different. But I'll tell you frankly, I don't think I can spend days hungry and learn. At least me, Fred Mwesige, I cannot.
Well, for a child, you would expect that.
And the children, I wouldn't expect it if I cannot.
Well, yes, go on.
Then we have, of course, the high teacher-pupil ratio. I think the figures are there. In some districts, it's up to 100. That is receiving more. Then, of course, we have little learning. When you have kids seated on the floor and the floor is just dirty floor, not even cemented floor, you have maybe now scholastic materials, you don't have this, and you remember they are hungry, and the teacher is maybe also hungry, and or if you're not hungry is complaining, because they have complained loud and clear that the money is paid to them is very little.
The teacher is hungry.
That's what
Kids are hungry.
Yes.
He doesn't have chalk. He's seated on the floor. They'll go 7 kilometers back home. In
fact, we have geniuses in Uganda to have kids to be able even to know 1 + 1 = 2 under these circumstances, and we really have good, very nice teachers if they can teach in such conditions.
All right, listeners, this is Spectrum on Radio 1 tonight. Why are teachers going on strike? Should they be dismissed, as has been proposed by their parent ministry? Our guests tonight, Reverend Father John Byamukama, Secretary for Education at the Uganda Joint Christian Council, and Mr. Fred Mwesige, National Coordinator, Forum for Education and NGOs in Uganda. You will be able to call in and contribute to this discussion. Reverend Father Byamukama, you people are going directly into politics. You bring together this wide coalition. You're disguising your political intentions.
The church, the role of the church, one of the roles of the church is a prophetic role. The work of a prophet is to speak on behalf of the people.
On behalf of God, actually.
Yeah. Of the people he has been sent to announce the news, the information, the word of God. Either it's good, according to the ears that listen to it, or it's bad. But usually the message is clear. Everything is needed to change and to get a better way of living. And therefore the church, as a foundation body, we are owners of schools, over 78%. And all listeners, none of them, I know, they have passed through the hands of the foundation body.
Church owns
the church owns school, or even most Muslims own schools. Yes. And I'm sure, Edmond, you are one of the products.
I went through Namirango. It's
very, very good. Yes. You are here at Radio 1, a wonderful man, because you got the real education provided for by the church. And therefore, it would be absurd for the church to sit down and see the situation bad and does not speak. That's why we come up, not as rebels, but to talk about the challenge of what we see. The challenge we are seeing is that the quality of education in our country has gone down. The quality of education in our schools has gone down, with the issues that have been enumerated. Among them, politicization of education. There are lots and lots of pronouncements about education. People to achieve their ends. I happen to move throughout the schools in Uganda, different regions. Our children are there, they are not learning. Because the human resource at the center, the teacher, is aggrieved. He cannot afford, they cannot afford to fend for their families. What they are getting is very little. When you look at the budget, what has been provided to them. My colleague has just explained. So the church comes up and says, we speak for those who are hungry. This is exactly what prophets talked about. The Bible spells it out clearly. I have come that they may have life.
And life to the full, abundant.
Yes. The poor, the sick, the weak, those who are hungry, that they may be fed. Luke tells us, chapter 4. Now, here we are, speaking on behalf of the church, speaking about our schools for improvement. We want improvement. And for us to improve, we want our children. We want the teachers who are teaching our children, the engineers in the schools, to be happy.
All right.
When they are happy, the children will learn because they are hungry for learning. We have so many of them there. But because they go there, they find a hungry teacher who cannot fend for his children.
He's yawning.
He's yawning. He cannot do anything. They also run away. That's why we have high levels of absenteeism.
Right.
I want to share with you a simple report.
Yes.
Yesterday, I got a report from Kotido district.
What did they say?
Out of, at the beginning of this year,
yes,
we had an enrollment of 17,277 people in the schools. But those who attend school as I speak now, in the old schools, is 9,092.
So half go to
56% those who are not attending. The 44%
are doing other things.
They are doing other things because they cannot afford. They cannot be there. They find nobody.
Well, listeners, we're joined by Miss Teopista Birungi Mayanja, General Secretary of UNATU, that's the Uganda National Teachers Union. You're most on the line. You're most welcome, Miss Birungi. Hello.
Hello.
You're welcome to Spectrum, madam.
Thank you very much. Good evening, all listeners to Spectrum.
Good evening. Why are you people going on strike? The government has just promised you some money, even before it gets to your bank accounts. You go on strike. Why are you doing that?
You see, one thing we would like everyone to understand the reason behind this strike. It is nothing out of disobedience, but it is a communication strategy. The wake-up call to all the education stakeholders in the country. In fact, it isn't against anyone, even government doesn't need to take offense. Instead, it is the federal government that we are raising up the voice for everybody to understand about the unchecked crisis, the persistent challenges which have not been checked for years in education, and one of them is the current attack to the teaching profession. About education, when we don't talk about the teacher, and there cannot be teaching when the teachers are being demoralized, because currently the status, the morale, and the professionalism of the teachers is under attack. So with the others, one of the activities to draw the attention of all the others in the form of a workers' call, one of the activities involves a protest. Very clear protest that was very well defined, that for 2 days we are not teaching. And the purpose is to communicate what we are talking about, which is very true because everybody can prove it.
How did the strike go? Did teachers stay away, or what happened?
The teachers did not teach. And if there is any who went to school, that's what the theme of this campaign is talking about. Stop pretending. Our children are not learning. Everybody is pretending. The teachers themselves are pretending to be teaching. Government itself is forcing teachers to go to school, pretending that they will be teaching. Parents are sending their children to school, pretending when they know the children are not learning. So for us, one of our roles, one of our mandates as a professional teachers organization is to enhance the quality of public education to the Ugandan children, and we have to see it going out of our hands with less people not caring, and with persistent challenges that we are failing to address, which otherwise are addressable, one of which is the crisis about the teachers. And that's why Mozilari and joined by others others are accountable to the owners of the schools because earlier when we proposed, the teachers are selfish for looking out for what is theirs. It's not about our stomach. It's not about us. The teachers' teaching conditions and the children's learning conditions. And that's why we are out there. Because everybody to stop pretending and address some of these factors which are possible. And we are not only addressing the government of Uganda. All this is supporting the government of Uganda to reach where they may not be able to reach. We are mobilizing everybody who has a stake in education to play a role, and of course government is one of them.
Well, but the government has said they are going to fire you. You might go back to class and find your desk has been taken away.
No, please, would you like to tell government not to? They should not fire teachers. They should not disrupt a kind of a support mechanism to them. This is the support government, a support mechanism to them. They are getting other agencies joining them to struggle for this cause for education. I don't think they should fire teachers. Please, let's refrain from doing it, because I think this is a very justifiable kind of organization to which they should be even a party.
All right, well, we are going for a break. We'll be back. Do stay tuned. This is Spectrum on Radio 1.
Abaganda abaluri abanyakola abateso muzilama zinatweyaganenga tujagusa
myaka tano bedunga tetuli baddu so unbelievable nayatenga byaddala tekibadde ize yadde nakamu bendera waggulu bulaka tuli beautiful yero wakasana kafenga kasufu ready brotherhood eyatero bwetugatta
Tuchakale with Airtel today and celebrate 50 years of independence. Get up to 100% bonus to call across all networks. That's not all. Stand a chance to win a motorbike daily and a car every week. Simply top up every day. Get up to 100% bonus. Dial *162#. Press yes or OK. Start the 50 years independence celebration of Uganda today with Tuchakale from Airtel.
John, Mike and I, we go back a bit. We knew John at the beginning, working for someone else. But he was different. He had vision, saw opportunities. He started working towards his goal, opened his own garage, and worked, learning the hard way. His reputation spread. Trust, consistency, quality. Soon people were coming to him from all parts. He made himself and his whole street prosper, and also helped friends, seeing potential in people and helping them on. But John never shouts about all his success. He's just who he is. Special.
So here's to men like John, who make a difference, who enjoy Nile Special, the rich, satisfying taste from the source. Nile Special. You've earned it.
Not for sale to persons under 18.
Spectrum on Radio 1 FM 90.
Welcome back on Spectrum. Tonight, why are teachers striking? Should they be dismissed, as has been proposed by their parent ministry? Our guest tonight, Ms. Teopista Birungi Mayanja, General Secretary of the UNATU, or Uganda National Teachers Union, is joining us on the line. She'll be leaving us shortly. We'll talk to her as we get back. Reverend Father John Byamukama, Secretary for Education at the Uganda Joint Christian Council, Mr. Fred Mwesige, National Coordinator Forum for Education NGOs in Uganda. You will be able to contribute to this discussion. Madam Birungi, what happens if the government doesn't listen? They say they've never heard of your organization, the one you're flouting, you flagging right now.
Are you asking what happens if the government does not comply?
Well, yes. What will you do?
Well, that's why UNATU's focus has been to mobilize all the others. So sometimes we don't want to think that it should be one particular stakeholder. And Rome, others think Rome was not guilty in a day, but if Hoima wasn't guilty in a day. Slowly by slowly, this is the beginning of them recognizing that, by the way, it's not only the teachers, everybody is not think a crisis. And I think slowly they will comply. If they don't gather, it's now up to you all. The question will get back to you all. if government doesn't bother about what we are observing as a right thing, what should we do as Ugandans? This question should go to us all. But for me, I think when we are all together, we should be able to let the government know, and then slowly by slowly, some of the actions and the issues we are addressing and we are highlighting, they are suitable. We are saying let the Parliament calls for an amendment of the Act to enable parents to contribute towards their children's meals in a monetary form. There should be so many of these. But the policy shouldn't go ahead to restrict parents in a which manner. I think that is wrong. Two, government needs to resist the policies like automatic promotion, policies like paying a teacher's non-commensurate salaries, policies like failing to manage the payroll of the teachers. Every month they are delivered from the payroll, and they are only concerned about announcing absences as if it is activity, but they rarely speak about causes of absenteeism. Things like really choosing teachers in the public and so on. All these are workable, and I think government should be able. We are also talking about the constitutional rights of teachers engaging in a process of collective bargaining, which is provided for by the law which government itself attested to. What is the problem? This process, to my own understanding, is budget neutral. And when you think you have little resources and you don't want to bring out the basket of food to share it before everybody, that is the beginning of emancipation. That is just going to share with the others.
Well, the minister...
We are talking about in this campaign,
yes,
is possible and is doable if our government chooses to. If they don't, the teachers have played their role, and we shall push all the dust off our feet and leave the court with you. We shall have profit.
Well, we are very eloquent speaker, obviously, but before we let you go, I know you have to go. The minister says they'll fire you all. What kind of relationship do you have with the government?
No, I wouldn't think the government will fire. I don't know whether you are aware that part of what is causing the crisis is teacher shortage. The attrition rate at which teachers are getting out of the profession. For the last 10 years, government has failed to fill the gap of 10,000 teachers in the primary sector alone, because those they recruit get out.
All right.
As those who can.
Okay.
That means if they dismiss us all because we are speaking about this crisis, then they are going to have a strategy to replace us within 1 year all at a go. What strategy are they going to use?
Well,
what wrong have we done to put government that kind of response?
All right.
So I'm maintaining that possibly government intended to dismiss us when they imagined that our cause is not justifiable.
All right.
That between me and you, now that we are clarifying it, that we are taking a justifiable cause, there is no indiscipline in me. It is not an action of disobedience. I don't think government should dismiss. And if government dismisses, it will come back to you, the rest of the education stakeholders, to manage it. Because once they dismiss, we shall go.
All right.
You to manage the situation.
Okay, Madam Teopista Birungi, thank you very much for joining us. The General Secretary of UNATU. Thank you very much. I understand you have to go. Thank you for joining us on the line. Let's get back right here to the studio. Mr. Fred Mwesige, what do you think is going to happen in practice?
Well, it's hard to speculate, but it would rather be what do I think should happen. I think what should happen is for government not to threaten or not even to say they are sacking the teachers, rather to address these problems. And as Teopista says, This is not impossible to address. It is very possible, really. Take an example, one of the issues that we are raising, management of teachers. When you say teachers are absent, who manages the teachers? You know, it's the government who manages the teachers.
What's wrong with the way they're doing it?
Then if there is nothing wrong with the way they are doing it, there would be no absenteeism. If there is absenteeism...
Well, but they choose head teachers from your own profession. Most of them are teachers, I believe.
Yeah, but still, the onus falls on government.
What's the root of that absenteeism?
Of course, because of pretenses. We pretend that teachers are happy. We pretend that we can just threaten them with dismissal and they will go to teach. And so, you know, you can't take the bull to the well. You think it's
a bad thing to threaten you with dismissal?
It's very, very, very wrong. There is no reason for it. And if I were government...
You think it's a bad attitude?
I would think so. Because if I were government, I would simply try to address these issues.
Well, they've just raised your salaries and now you want to go home.
Well, you can see also for yourself. Raised by how much? 40,000 Uganda shillings?
Half a loaf is better than no bread at all.
This time I think it is less than half a loaf. Because look, we still have inflation at 25% and above.
18%.
18%. And you are increasing by how much? 15%.
15%. It's below inflation.
It's below inflation. Yeah. Not forgetting that actually even the total amount of money we're talking about is too little. It's a pittance. You know, these are things we are pretending about.
You spend it in a supermarket and you don't need help to carry it.
No, you don't need help. This is in small kavera kechukumi, and you go home with this salary. You know, there is no question about it.
Reverend Father, this huge coalition you've created, what exactly can it do? She says the government could say, no, we don't have money. What is the next, logical frontier?
I strongly believe that united we stand. We are facing a crisis. Prophet Amos says, if a lion roars, who can avoid feeling afraid? If our teachers who are teaching our children are saying, here we are hungry, many of them have taken to riding borders because the border.
I know one teacher who's a graduate who does.
Yes, border because the border person is able to earn.
He earns more than a teacher.
As a teacher. So now, you as a prophet, do you stay back and see what is taking place? And remember,
you said the harsh words. Prophet Amos told the king, your wife is going to become a prostitute in this city. You want to begin using language.
Remember, and he said, when he was attacked by the king, Amaziah, he said, I was not
born a prophet.
But I was called and sent. And he was speaking the truth. Usually the truth is very, very bitter. Now, I want to repeat this. Vox Populi, Vox Dei. The voice of the people is the voice of God. When the people of God are hungry, God cannot sit back. So the church is saying, government, we are collaborators. We work with the government. We are partners in education. We appreciate.
And you're not ashamed of it. You're wearing your collar with your badge in front of you. You're not ashamed of it.
No, this is my identity. And therefore, as a prophet, I speak on behalf of those who are crying. I have come that they may have life. That's why I am here to speak on their behalf and say the quality of education in our schools has gone down.
And you are a Catholic. Reverend Zatneringe is a Protestant, an Anglican, and he said he's not going to eat food again, he's not going to have lunch again until the children have lunch. So it's across the board, Catholics, Anglicans.
Yes.
And even Muslims.
Or even Muslims.
Yes.
Oh yes, we are
identifying with...
nowhere to hide.
Yes. They are identifying with their own people. You cannot run away from your own people. You cry with them, you suffer with them, so that all of you can
rise together.
And that's why we are here. I would be somewhere, but because of the passion I have for education, I'm an educationist myself. I received education. When you read in the papers recently, remember, at the Law Development Center in Makerere, how many students failed to pass the examinations?
A whole hard.
174.
174 out of 500.
414, something like that, right?
So now imagine, where are we going? And where is the problem? Where is the problem? The problem begins from the ground, down there. That's why I'm happy with you, Edmond. You received education, quality education. That's why you are here.
Church-based school.
Yeah, church-based school, and you are able now to speak to all Ugandans who are listening to you. So, dear listeners, education is a key to development.
And the Orthodox Church actually is part of this.
How about the private schools? Let's talk about those.
Yeah, private schools.
Are they shielded where people pay large amounts of money?
Private schools, some of them actually
or is
pay.
there osmosis?
Yeah.
Does it cross over to the other side?
I think when we are speaking about private schools, we should also be very careful. There is a feeling that private is wonderful, is good. We should know there is also private schools for the poor who are actually struggling. I'll give you an example. We have the USE program, that's Universal Secondary Education Program. It's run in two types of schools by ownership. One, government schools or government aided schools, and the other is private schools, which is now under the program called PPP, Private-Public Partnership. Guess what? A child who goes to the secondary school in a government-aided school is under USE is given 41,000 Uganda shillings per term on top of a teacher and any other help that the government can afford. Then the other child who goes to the PPP secondary school under USE gets 47,000, and that's it.
Yes.
Now, tell me, is the 6,000 difference able to cover the teacher, able to cover the scholastic materials? And the figures again are out. More than 3,000 private schools do not have science teachers. Can you imagine, Edmond? You go to school, you attend a school where there is not a single science teacher, and you are supposed to take exam in science. You're supposed to be studying science.
Wow. Well, let's hear from the listeners. This is Spectrum on Radio 1. Tonight, why are teachers striking? Should they be dismissed as the government says they really should? You can call in now. Our numbers 0414 348 111, 0312 260 390, 0312 261 390. When you call in, please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Spectrum, hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir, your name?
Yes, Mwesige John from South.
Please switch off your radio and then talk to us. Your name again?
Mwesige John.
John, yes? Yes, you're live on Spectrum. Go on, John.
Yes, thank you for hosting.
Hello, we can hear you. Go on.
Yes, another.
All right, John, insert the Spectrum, hello?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Your name?
I'm Musuma calling from Kansanga.
Yes, Spectrum, hello. We lost. Yes. Spectrum, hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir, your name? Yes. Okay. Well, she's a soldier. Maybe she has to speak in a certain spectrum. Hello.
Spectrum, I'm Peter.
Peter.
Just want to make a comment.
Go on. Spectrum, hello, a final caller tonight. Your name? Yes, Tumani. All right, well, let's get back to the studio. Mr. Mwesige, you can respond to the caller.
Yeah, many of the callers were expressing support. There is Mr. John from Mokono who is saying, where has the spirit gone of those people who existed before? He cited PTA. And this is what one of the things we are raising. We are saying, look, we made a law. It's a very good law, you know, charging nothing, charging zero at all. But I think as a country, we are a bit utopian. What we are saying, it has not worked. Amend the law to oblige parents
provide lunch.
To provide something. Because when this law came into force, then PTAs
were abandoned.
Absolutely were abandoned.
And they used to work in the past.
Even
putting pressure on teachers.
And by the way, we should not forget that this is a time when Uganda is at its best, perhaps. Because we have ever been at war. We have ever been in a bigger crisis politically. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it is the PTAs that kept the schools going. We all know where we are coming from. But now when you wash them away and you don't provide, you don't bridge that gap, I think that is what we are seeing. That's why we are saying we are pretending. We shouldn't pretend. You know, we are being utopian. We are not real. We are not addressing the causes. We are not looking at the picture on the ground and tackle it head on. It's just, you know, you can't say anything. You can't say you're going to fire the teachers. Yes, if you fire them, so then what? What next? You know, all of that doesn't help. And we are calling upon government and we are appealing to government, please do add. These issues are not made up. These issues are not artificial. They are there. Can you please address them? Simple and straightforward. Well,
all right. Let's because of the time. Further.
Yeah. I would think that I thank all who have responded because they are supporting and their comments are very good because they have been positive. They are speaking from the ground of what they see. And therefore, joining our voices together, we are just making a wake-up call to government to reconsider quality of education. Our curriculum is not addressing the needs of Ugandans. Our curriculum has a lot to work out in order to address the challenge of education. And therefore, our teachers, who are themselves the engineers of imparting knowledge and skills to these children of ours, they need support.
Yes,
therefore, we are coming up to give them support as a church.
Yes.
Because we own these schools, we support them. As a foundation body, we are supporting them, we are mourning with them, and we want the government, together with us as partners, to wake up and address their needs.
And your interest is in education. It's not politics.
That's why we are not. It is not a political agitation. It is just a demand for the right of what should happen. The Constitution of Uganda is very clear. Right to education. What type of education? What type of education? So as a church we say, let us together work and we shall succeed.
Mr. Mwesige, as we go, you sure it's not political? Nothing political in this?
100% this is not political. If I wanted to join in politics, I know where to go. Absolutely. This is all about education, and I don't need to, disguise or whatever. No. I would just go straight for the elections. Why not? I'm competent enough. I can convince
you. You can even be president.
Why not? I'm eligible in by all means I'm eligible. But by the fact that I have never even stood for the LC1, that means I have nothing to do with politics. Nothing mixed. Absolutely. Nothing like politics.
And what should government do tomorrow when you go to present your...
What government should do tomorrow should listen to this, take heart, take it in good faith, and if they so wish, let them visit the schools. I know they have visited schools, they know what is on the ground. As simple as that, let them address this crisis.
But there's no money.
The money is there.
Where is the money? What should they cut?
We shall find it there.
We'll have to go. Thank you very much, dear guests. Mr. Teopista Birungi Mayanja, General Secretary of the UNATU, Uganda National Teachers Union, joined us on the line. Reverend Father John Byamukama in the studio, Secretary for Education at the Uganda Joint Christian Council. Thank you very much for coming to Spectrum tonight, sir. Mr. Fred Mwesige, National Coordinator, Forum for Education NGOs in Uganda. Thank you for coming to Spectrum, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond Kizito. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Up next is the news in English.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Everybody.